Vice President Kamala Harris flew to Poland today to meet with NATO allies and Ukrainian refugees. Meanwhile, back at home, President Joe Biden turned his attention to U.S. manufacturing and supply chains. But the question is, what is being done to ease the current economic pain? White House Correspondent Owen Jensen reports. Owen?
Tracy, tonight the Biden administration is under immense pressure to bring down inflation, now at a 40-year high. And the consumer price report being released tomorrow is expected to show more setbacks.
Americans feeling the pain of inflation, paychecks not going as far as they used to, no quick end in sight. And today at the White House, meeting with business executives as well as governors from both parties, President Joe Biden and Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo pushed for passage of the Bipartisan Innovation Act.
So we can invent and make the technologies of the future, and industries like biotechnology, artificial intelligence, telecommunications, and others we can barely imagine today.
At the same time, Vice President Kamala Harris begins her journey to Warsaw to thank Poland for taking in hundreds of thousands of people fleeing Ukraine and to make sure the war doesn't spill over into NATO territory. Kyiv's mayor says Ukrainians will not surrender.
We never go to the knee. We are ready to defend our city. We're fighting for our houses. We're fighting for our city. We're fighting for our country.
And as the U.S. tries to cut off Russia's war funding, President Joe Biden signs a new executive order on cryptocurrency. He wants the Federal Reserve to consider starting its own digital currency and providing government oversight. Russia is accused of using cryptocurrency to avoid sanctions.
We're united in our efforts to raise the costs on the Kremlin for waging this ongoing war of choice, which has already displaced more than 2 million Ukrainians.
We're also tracking a developing story in Venezuela. The country finally released 2 imprisoned Americans. This comes after the U.S. sent envoys to Venezuela this past weekend, the first White House delegation in more than 2 decades. President Biden released a statement saying these men are fathers who lost precious time with their children and everyone they love, and their families have suffered every day of their absence. Now they're back in the U.S.
Now, tomorrow, President Biden hosts the president of Colombia at the White House, and the White House says they'll be discussing the COVID-19 response and future pandemic preparedness, economic recovery, and regional responses to migration. At the White House, Owen Jensen, EWTN News Nightly.